up, Rooster? Start thinking about you earlier today, man. I came down in this shop. I said, man, he'd never let his shop get this bad. But today is cleanup day, so I'll tighten it up. So I'm just working an idea that I had while I was taking a little break. For this cane, and we drilled a hole this morning. Yeah, so what I'm gonna try to do. Oh no, man, you done backslid and roughed up your shop too? well, well, sometimes you gotta crack some eggs. Now, let me grab, I'm gonna be right back. Y'all bear with me for a quick second. I'm gonna go grab my laptop so I can read the comments without having to tiptoe over top of the seat. Let me try to see. So, yo, we are back. Like Joey Crack. Where you from? I guess it's where you from. I did a job yesterday. I had to pile everything in there a few minutes ago. Oh, that's how it go though. I had to throw everything in here today because it's raining cats and dogs outside, and I'm an open bed truck kind of guy, and that ain't always the way. It ain't always the way. So essentially, my idea is this. I just pulled this out of this when I did that. And since I did that, I think it took pretty good. I put some black in there. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. It turned out good for this mallet, I think. And then I thought, why not do something like that? I was trying to figure out the next thing for this cane because it didn't feel complete yet. So I think some of that stuff worked out that I did. I was pretty happy with those results. And then I taped over this side, poured the epoxy. I think I might have burnt it a little bit. It's definitely translucent, but it ain't clear and easy. But it's also only a few millimeters thick at this point. So if I had to pull it back out, totally could. But right now, what I think I'm going to do is try to cut a cross out of this as best I can. Pour some more clear epoxy, set this in there in between, re-pour, boom. I also got a great suggestion to use some of this gold leaf. Do a little cross, put it on that, because that's who this cane is for. A friend of mine who is a relatively religious man, I would say. So I'm going to take this epoxy and I'm going to try to cut a decent sized, decent looking cross out of it, hopefully. I'll start it with a 90-degree angle. That might be better. Just gonna get my material down to a size that I think makes sense in there. And of course we'll polish it up before we put it in there, just to make sure. So let's say this is our height. This might be upside down to you. So that's about good. Now I gotta figure out the best way to cut it without it looking crazy. And then I'm also going to need to polish it. Not sure what cleans this stuff, but I'm going to have to polish it. Let's get something to draw on it first. Maybe my marking knife would be good for that. Also, maybe a chisel. That ought to get me a good set of circumstance. See if that worked. Get you a little bit safer distance. Kind of want to do something a little fancier than just this kind of a standard cross. I just don't know how visible it'll be with my amateur pedigree with the epoxy. I don't know if it'll show very well. Snap. Oh, frick. Cracked it. Kind of felt like that might happen. I also thought maybe a bit of elasticity in this would be a saving grace. But fortunately, we can still use it as long as we got the pieces, because it's what it is. Let's try the scissors again. Yeah, maybe I should have done that from the beginning. Yeesh. It's alright, we know better now. Huh. So I'm going to get a little more for that. Still didn't come off. Why don't we learn? That. Good. Maybe it's fighting me just because I'm probably the last person that should be building a cross. Getting close. Too tall. Keep that there, keep that there. I kind of like it a little pointy. I think I would like it a little more narrow. This is my freaking finger. Hmm. Hmm. What up, Steve? What up, Matthew? How you doing? How you doing? Just slapping some stuff together here. Hoping for an outcome we can tolerate. We have to move this over a little bit for stability's sake. Alright, so now we're going to mix some epoxy and clear and try to get down. I'm glad you're well, my friend. Now, the epoxy stuff that I have is a 1-in-1 mix. It's not complicated. I can add a little more hardener and obviously harden a little faster. So give me a quick second and I'm going to grab it and figure out what's in the mix. I bet you it's in plain sight. It's one of those things you get used to seeing it, and your brain just doesn't see it anymore. Yep. Exactly what happened. So now we got resin. Hey Wes, that knife you have. Here's a knife I probably purchased 10 years ago, and it was a great one. I do reviews on blades, and that's a great knife for the price. Very sturdy. How do you like it? Let's see. Which one are you referring to? This little Gerber or this Kershaw? A Kershaw is filthy. I had to use it, I was doing plumbing in my front yard this week. The Gerber, I got a pair of these maybe a year or so ago. Home Depot. On sale in a 2-pack. They are super light. They are not the most fun to sharpen, but they are super handy. And if you're wearing dress pants or something like that, you can take something like this and you barely notice you have it in your pocket or your clip or whatever. This, however, is heavy and a work knife. I did a review on this knife. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I absolutely love these Gerbers. I got no issues with them. They're not very fidgety, in the sense of these aren't the kind of knives you pull out and just play, They're fairly slow, But as an everyday, you need a knife, this thing does the trick and it's not bulky, it doesn't get in the way. I like it. The fact that they've survived with me for a year plus, maybe 2. I've lost them twice and found them again. Alright, so I'm going to start pouring this epoxy into this situation. But first, I'm going to get all the crap off of here that I don't need. That's going to start with this. I got all of my coloring that I'm going to go with for now. I'm not sanding. Yet. Gloves. That away. That away. The more desk space I create for myself, I use every freaking inch of it. This is twice as big as what I had, and I'm already piling crap all over. So give me a couple seconds to move some of this out your way. And we will move forward with our experiment. We will hope nobody will strike us down with lightning because I'm over here building a cross. Beep, squeaking stuff we don't need up and out of the directions. I'm gonna have a little room to work. Yeah. Wild. I really am gonna have to freaking clean up today. It's getting wild. Alright, I'm almost ready. Boston Blade Review says, yes, very handy, very low profile. Yep. I saw a Gordon that was almost identical the other day to this Gerber. And I felt, I didn't like it. Because I have a Gerber that I did not like at all. And I thought, how dare they? And then I was like, oh snap, I got a little knife snob in. Even though I'm a very low budget, low quality knife snob, I just got active beef with that one knife. Which frankly I do still use, but only on fishing trips. Alright, so let's see. There are no paid sponsorships or partnerships in this video. It's just me doing this thing that I be doing. And we kicking it with it. Let's get all of this out of the way. Alright, we don't need much for this situation. You can go ahead and lay it down now. It's about as over top of it as I can get without. So if I raise you up a little bit, you can see that better, but it also kind of gets in the way. Let me put something underneath here. I think that's just the best you're going to get. Let's see if I've got something white I could put behind it. Maybe you can see better what we're attempting to do. It's just so much better up in the air. But it's hugely inconvenient for me that way. Let me find something else that can hold it. Ugh. See? Terrible. I'm going to have to drop something in there to hold that. In the meanwhile, see if I can find some CA glue for that job. I got some because I just bought some. My shop is a mess and I'm looking at the shred and do it now. I thought we just pumped some of that stuff. Alright, we're just gonna freaking mix it, pour it, and call it. Yeah, that's exactly what I was looking for. Baby kisses and super glue. Austin says the project's coming out great, brother. What's up, Matt? I am expecting that if I do get epoxy on it and it begins to move, then I'm just gonna use my pen to just float it back down. Now I did intentionally make this a little bit tight so it's sort of wedged right there. What's gonna move is this little buddy. And what I guess I'm gonna do is when I make the epoxy up, I'll take a little tad, stick it on him, and stick him down there. And then I'll pour a little bit after that. And if it moves while it's in there, I'll just shift him back. I'll have a little bit of working time with this stuff. But let me get my little tiny needle nose. It's more my ego than anything that wants to shift this stuff around. Like I say, if I can do it easier that way than this way, but ultimately, hope it ain't gonna be too bad. I like to reuse these containers so I pull all of my junk out. These came with the resin that I bought. This kit was off of Amazon. It was less than $50, but I'm not sure how much. I just know I have a $50 rule on things I don't need, but stuff I want to have. All right. I'm going to go ahead and mix up our resin and our stuff. We pour it and then we measure it and we mix it together for 3 minutes. So I might require your patience while I'm mixing this for 3 full minutes. Here we go. This is hardener. Out of the way. David Kisser says the super glue won't mess with the epoxy, and then you will get more bubbles. Problem is I couldn't find my super glue. I found one container, it was empty. And I just couldn't find the other. Or make you poor souls have to sit through my hunting for it, you know? Holy moly, did this stuff gel up? Does it have a mix by date? Holy smokes. I feel like this one just is gelatinous a little bit. Let's see if that affects anything. It says mix it in the same direction. Maybe that's to prevent the bubbles. You're definitely gonna have to put the heat gun on it. Maybe because the epoxy gets old and temperature does affect it. It's been a pretty stable 72, 73 in my shop. But I know nothing about epoxy. I've had this for maybe a month. I've used it once. So I don't know much about it. I should have read up a little bit more. This is very frosty, what I'm doing right now. Hopefully it'll clear up. But right now it's very frosty and frothy even. Just making bubbles though. But what I did down there inside, when I plugged it and put epoxy in there, it was that fast dry epoxy so that I could do this today and at least have that hole plugged. But it did yellow when I tried to get the bubbles out with the heat, with a hair dryer. I've had some almost a year, and other than that, long, no good. Yeah, I'd imagine this is a small batch thing, I guess. But you know, I got the absolute cheapest stuff I could find. So, probably my fault. It feels like a long time. A lot of bubbles. Well, this is supposed to be clear. But see, it's bubble popping. But maybe that's why you stir it for 3 minutes. But I don't know. I've never, you know what I'm saying? I've only used this stuff. What am I making? The epoxy should have been clear by now. I'm pouring into this cane, my friend. It's bubbling like crazy, though. This particular epoxy says 3 minutes. So what I'm going to do is dip, dab, socialize. Wait. Sorry, all these rat nerds. Dip some in there, and then I'm going to stick it. Like so. I don't know if y'all can see this. It's bubbling like crazy. Worst case, we can always drill it right back out. So the arm of the cross stayed put, thankfully. Now, you can barely see in there, so I'm going to heat this up. See you later, baby kisses. What's going on, Carnage? How you doing, dude? Just over here making bubbles. Hmm. pull a smidgen out of there. What up, Carnage? How you doing? So now I don't think there's a snowball's chance in Hades that we get to transparent. I think we got a minor shot at translucent, but what we also have is an opportunity here. We can make another cross and put it right here on this side. And then you can see it through. You know what I'm saying? think you get what I'm saying. So, let me slap that boy in right there. Where's the tools? Where's the tools? More or less. More so, I let a fast life come through in the poor slow life. Whoa. Mr. says, would it adhere better absorbing in the raw wood? And first points the wood with one part alone. I don't know. Carney's saying he's doing good, polishing up the knives, because that's how he do. Mike Osborne in his chat and building. He says, what's up to him? Carney says, how much cost is it on that hammer? And then, what kind of hammer we talking? Says, Mr. Oh, he made a mallet, said he's going to send it to Canada, wondering if it was going to cost a bunch of money. That says Carnage West. How much for a solid wooden ball peen hammer, but it's also a pipe like the Native American pipe tomahawks. That sounds interesting. Matthew asks Carnage, where does he live? He's in Quebec. And Violin Royalty, also West Desert Royalty. just jumped in here with us. Asked me how my day going. My day is going great. My cross is floating away though. Carnage Blazer says he lives in Ontario and sparks off beef. Runic said, "What's up, folks? What's going on, Runic? I'm over here being a small tools guy today as well." I'm trying to keep this other half of this cross sunken. Might leave it slightly that way, askew. That's kind of interesting. These bubbles elevate my OCD like I can't tell you. But I'm going to learn to leave it alone. Because this one's going to take a while to dry. I'm pretty sure this type of epoxy is a while. Oh, Carnage, no, I just haven't gone. It was raining like crazy today all day, so I didn't go to the post office. But don't worry about the cost, man. I got it. No worries at all. Yo, but you want to see it, though. Hold on, let me dust you off. I don't want to present bad. I have to put this elsewhere in my shop. For anyone who's curious about this old cane, let me get it somewhere where it doesn't move. So while we're here, we might as well go ahead and put our final finish on the Carnage mallet before we get it out of here. First, we gotta find our boiled linseed oil, because we're gonna put another coat on to make sure we got plenty of protection over the whole thing and the parts that we also work on. Thanks to those folks that came out and kept me company while I did that carving, while I laid that epoxy, while we got this thing together. Well then, Royalty, what you up to today, man? Ooh, look at that. That did so good right away. I am. Oh, crisp finish. Jesus. Man. Man. Look at what it did to that epoxy in there. I like it a lot. Lynn says chilling. He said that's beautiful. And Matthew says because Bailey's worth something, $20, I think. Everybody in here, you gotta like and subscribe to Weston. He's the craziest woodworker and the best woodworker I've ever seen in my life. He's a man. I did not do that in Carnage's accent. He's a much cooler sounding guy than me. But thanks, bro. I appreciate you flex in the chat into submission on my behalf. Do it. Y'all having a good Sunday? Violin Royalty said he's just chilling, and that is exactly what this day is for me too. Man, it's good to have. It's good for your self-esteem to have a friend in the chat. I tell you what, dopamine for days. And I appreciate the contributors to the channel, the memberships to the channel. Violin Royalty is numero uno in that department, and we're very grateful to have all of you here. We're particularly grateful for those who help us do more stuff. So this is while I got it in my hand, I'll talk to in case you guys didn't know, this is a mallet, obviously. It's a oak and American chestnut. And it was made my #1 supporter in Carnage bladesmithing. And man, I gotta figure out a gift for Violin Royalty, who is my #1 financial contributor. All I could hear in my head, Reg, was this song, My Best Friend. Was that like the Big and Rob version? Let me tell you about my best friend. Oh man, I got my 2 best friends in the chat right now. I am going to put an Etsy store together because I'm not a repeat guy. I like to do one-off things. And so I might put a little online store or something together so that people who are interested can. Because I'm not very interested, I'm not at all interested in mass producing a lot of anything. But I would like to make some good quality, fun builds that also might end up useful to somebody. In this case, it's a tool. In some cases, it's going to be other things that may be even more art director. You know what I mean? But for now, if y'all got anything y'all think would be cool, or you'd be interested in me making or building, uh, please give me a shout, and I will. And if you do want to talk to me about potentially doing a one-of build for you, um, give me a shout at westdoesit@gmail.com. If I haven't built it, I'll probably try. If I have built it, it's easy. So we can talk about commission work in the email. Because you know, I have to calculate so many things because I just don't know. It's always kind of like a peanuts. Finally, he says, I want a yellow wooden beanie. That is funny. Oh my God, if I could make one, I'd have it on my head right now. What's funny is I'm at my son's football game yesterday. He's in a band. And I'm at the concessions because I be concessioning, you know what I'm saying? And a dude came up to me and asked me where I got that beanie from. And he was like, yeah, bro, I need that link. And I was like, y'all ain't got Amazon on your side of the city? But I thought it was cool. So this is that cane over there is going, and I think it's gonna be happy where it's at. And when it gets done, now that's not gonna be a epoxy that's gonna be good today. That's gonna take all night, and check in on it in the morning, and I'll figure out something to do in the meanwhile. But let me go over there and check on that cross, make sure that thing ain't breaking apart or setting itself on fire. It's floating away though. I think that's just going to be something I'm going to have to monitor this whole time because I should have stuck them together before. Mister says I knit my own beanies from ejector seat harness straps. It's one tough beanie. One tough beanie. Make mine out of Brillo. Straight steel. Try putting one of the sticks under the understicks of the cane. That is what I've done, but the bigger stick, I guess, is the one below, and that's the one that seems to be staying put. But I'm worried if I get the lower one underneath it, the one that's forward to me, underneath it, I'll agitate it and I'll have two of them floating about. I think I'm just going to have to make sure it stays put because as these bubbles come up and release, they're just kind of pushing it around. Connor said, that guy asked you about your hat. I would just said, I can't tell you because it's my signature beanie, bro. I wish I was cool enough to call something signature and flex, but I'm just not. You know, I'm just not. And I'm okay with that. You know, I didn't invent beanies. I just got a bald head that needs protection, and that was the least intrusive answer. me put a little more linseed oil on this because. I do need a titanium Brillo beanie, bro. That's what Mister said. What you really should be looking for is the vibranium. That's the way to go. I mean, you're not going to get much tougher than the Teflon vibranium. Knit my sweaters out of raw elk bark. We don't have a bearskin rug. We just got a bear we make lay on the floor for us. I don't even kill the snakes for the snakeskin belts I wear. I just tie a knot in them and stay right there. What if you make it out of paper, the cross, you cut it in a circle? Silk violin. It's not bad. What I did on the other side, you came in a little bit after, but on the other side there's also a cross. It's a red cross. And it's made out of the same epoxy. And so what I did was a fast set epoxy on one side, and I put a tape on it after I drilled through, and that gave me a layer and somewhat of a plug on the other side, and then I stuck a cross in there. And because it wasn't as translucent as I'd like, I made sure that I left enough space that I could drill it back out if I wanted. And then I poured epoxy on top of that, and then I put the other wooden cross on this side, so you could at least see it if it turns out not to be transparent, where you can see all the way through to the other side. You can at least see through the couple of millimeters of epoxy and see the crosses on either side. That sounded complicated more than it is, but you know. I've got another dilemma. I have made this mallet, which I also really like. I'm bored with the handle. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do. If I want to do like maybe an inlay and carve something in there. I don't know if I want to just shape it better. Something more like this one. Ergonomically, this is the best handle I've made. This one for sure. But I gotta do something with this. It looks, I think this is a great looking mallet, but I gotta do something to make this handle, one, feel better, but two, be as worthy of the effort in the wood, you know what I mean? So I think I kind of went a little plain, but I did want to do that bit right there and kind of try to make it look a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, you do amazing work, man. I love my handle, bro. It's gonna be comfy in my hand. Yeah, this is probably, well, this is the only round handle that I've made so far, other than the one-piece mallet that I made, the spoke shade. But this is definitely the most spinnable mallet I've made, for sure. Hold on a sec, because I'm gonna have to plug y'all in before this thing shuts y'all down. One quick second. Very flippable one here for sure. I like it. This one's a long flip. It's almost a hammer this way. Maybe I'll just use it as a big mallet. I don't know. Kind of decorative. I might do a giveaway for this once I finish. Yeah, man. I think we're officially done with this thing now, Carnage. You got everything on it you want on it? You good with that? You good? You happy? You're happy? I'm happy. I'll get that bad boy out of the way. Love it and it's perfect. Good enough for me. So, we got that done. We got this cleaned up today. We got the nice inlay done. Very happy with these results. And we're going to have to see what happens with that cane. I'm going to think of something to do with this handle right here on this one. And once I do, I'll come tune back in because I really want to do something nice with this one. I think it's worth it. Till then, I appreciate y'all coming through. As always, all I'm doing is stuff that you could be doing if you wanted to do it. I'm just showing you that it's not that hard. With little tools, with a little skill set, no time. If I can do it, you can do it. I would love it if the 13 people that are in here right now would hit that like button before I skedaddle, and then I will feel like I've been loved appropriately. But we're going to come back with some more cool stuff. Don't worry. Don't worry. We're going to come back fresher than ever, too. I love your cup. I appreciate it. Again, man, look, Father's Day gifts be in there. Like my daughter did this, got me this cup. I'm so down for her. But also my cup is anyway. Yeah. Violet hit the like, Matthew hit the like, Carnage hit the like, and I already knew it for y'all, and I appreciate that. Y'all are the best. Barney says, my son got me a beer cup, and it's got Dad on it. I drink out of it every time I have a beer. Right on. It needs a lid when you're down there in the workshop. Violin, did you not know the technology that we have bestowed upon us? Let me show you before you go. Show you what Wes be doing. Because you're right. We don't want bugs or dust. Safe and sound, amigo. Yeah, the bear trap. All right, you guys, enjoy your day. Thanks for spending your time with me. I'll come back. We'll spend some more time. We'll figure some more stuff out. And I'm going to holler back at y'all later on. Peace. Blessings. Thank you so much for hanging. Ronick, what's up? If y'all got some time, go over see Ronick. Go see Carnage. Amazing channels over there. Peace. West does it. West does it. West does it.